All right, everyone, get ready. Today's story is making waves in both the political and entertainment spheres. You've probably heard of John Fetterman, the Democratic senator from Pennsylvania, recognized for his outspoken views on justice, equality, and fairness. But in an unexpected twist, Fetterman is now at the center of a legal case that's drawing attention far beyond the political world. That's right. Fetterman has filed a lawsuit involving Sunny Hostin, co-host of The View, along with the show's producers. This isn't just entertainment gossip or a passing disagreement. It's a significant legal development that's sparking conversations nationwide. So what exactly happened? And why is this capturing so much attention? Let's unpack the situation and explore why it might have implications beyond those directly involved.
Of the J6 people too, though, right? That's what they're going to say on the other side. That is weaponized also.
I'm not referring to that. I'm talking about the New York trial. Yeah. And now the Democrats on our side there were some that were gleeful, calling it like, now he's a convicted felon and those things. And now for our party, we were talking about criminal justice, and we are now talking about second chances. And now all of a sudden now you're like, well, he's a convicted felon and all these things. And now clearly, again, both of those trials, the Hunter Biden one and the trial in New York for Trump, that was politically motivated. And those kinds of charges would have never been brought unless one side could realize that they could.
Let's begin with Senator John Fetterman. He's no stranger to public attention. Over the years, the Pennsylvania lawmaker has built a reputation as someone unafraid to speak his mind and challenge the norms, whether that means advocating for marginalized communities or calling out perceived injustices in the system. Fetterman has always positioned himself as a strong voice for fairness, and that includes holding the media accountable when he believes they've crossed the line. So when he appeared on The View for a scheduled segment, most expected the usual mix: lively political dialogue, current affairs discussions, and the kind of spirited debate the show is known for. The hosts, particularly Sunny Hostin, are well known for their candid commentary. But during this particular episode, things reportedly took an unexpected turn. According to Fetterman, the tone shifted in a way that left more than just tension in the room. What was supposed to be a routine TV appearance may have taken a more serious turn. While the exact remarks made by Hostin haven't been publicly disclosed, likely due to the ongoing legal proceedings, Fetterman has alleged that her comments were defamatory. He claims they damaged his reputation and caused harm that goes far beyond mere disagreement or verbal sparring.
They had a placebo group and they had a vaccine group because they wanted for military readiness to see if the flu shot was prophylactic against coronavirus. What they found is actually the people who got the flu shot were 36% more likely to get coronavirus. And that's not a lone study. We found 6 other major studies that say the same thing. If you get the flu shot, you're more likely to get coronavirus. Look, all you have to do, Alan, and this is what Cochrane said, is look what's happened to longevity in the elderly since we started mandating the flu shot to elderly people. Those are the people who their life expectancy has dramatically gone down as the flu shot proliferated. And if you see, the people who died during the COVID vaccinate,
This is more than just a headline-grabbing legal dispute, because in today's world, media shapes perception on a massive scale. When a sitting senator like John Fetterman feels he's been misrepresented or unfairly criticized, the issue quickly grows beyond the personal. It speaks to a broader conversation about media ethics, accountability, and the influence of public platforms. So why should this matter to you or me, ordinary people not directly involved in the back and forth? Because this situation touches on something much bigger: how we navigate truth, opinion, and responsibility in the age of nonstop news and social media. It raises critical questions. Where is the line between free speech and defamation? At what point does commentary turn into harm? Shows like The View, with millions of daily viewers, carry serious influence. And with that influence comes the responsibility to communicate thoughtfully and accurately. Fetterman's lawsuit isn't just about one uncomfortable moment on TV. It's about drawing a line in the sand and saying, words have power and platforms must be held accountable for how they use that power. As someone who's never been shy about speaking out, Fetterman is using this moment to spotlight what he sees as a failure in journalistic responsibility. His message: just because someone has a microphone doesn't mean they can say anything without facing consequences. Think about it. With so many people watching and listening, one careless comment can shape public opinion or damage reputations. Fetterman believes the View's producers should have done more to prevent that from happening. For him, this isn't just about protecting his name. It's about setting a precedent and reminding media voices everywhere that with great reach comes great responsibility.
And people do have sympathy for that, but a lot of people are angry with him about it. What do you say?
Oh, well, I think it's undeniable that the case against Hunter Biden was really politically motivated, but I also think it's true that the trial in New York for Trump that was political as well too. Now it's that, and in both cases, I think a pardon is appropriate, and I really think collectively, America's confidence in these kinds of institutions have been damaged by these kinds of cases, and we cannot allow these kinds of institutions to be weaponized against our political opponents. And it's very clear both trials were politically motivated and weaponized.
Now let's turn to Sunny Hostin. Known for her bold opinions and unfiltered commentary, she's a prominent and familiar voice on The View. Her candid approach is a big part of what defines her presence on the show, but this time her remarks may have pushed the boundaries. Was what she said merely an honest expression of opinion, or did it cross into defamatory territory? That's a question the courts will ultimately have to decide, but the larger issue at hand is this: should public figures with vast platforms be able to speak without considering the potential consequences of their words? Fetterman's lawsuit isn't just about a single comment or a single broadcast. It touches on a much broader concern: media responsibility in an era where information, whether accurate or not, spreads instantly and widely. He's highlighting a crucial point: the media not only informs public opinion, it shapes it. And when that shaping is built on statements that are false or harmful, the impact can be far-reaching. In today's digital landscape, where anything can go viral in seconds, the responsibility to report and comment accurately has never been greater. Fetterman is using this case to shine a light on the need for accountability in journalism and public discourse.
Netflix documentary series about New York Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers. He said he's heartbroken about friends and family cutting him off for his controversial political views and conspiracy theories. And a lot of Americans can relate to this, especially after this last election. So, do you think it happens everywhere?
What I recall about him is when he was asked about the COVID-19 pandemic, during the height of the pandemic, when people had lost loved ones, when people's family members were missing from their Thanksgiving table, like my table, he said, "I'm immunized." And as it turns out, he was not. He had done his own research. He has his Google MD like I do. And I think he said he was allergic to something in the vaccine, but he had COVID and he was in a huddle with his teammates. Yeah. And I think people felt like, wow, you don't care. You're not your brother's keeper.
This could really turn me against more.
Now let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. This lawsuit isn't just about one person or one show. It shines a spotlight on a much deeper tension that exists in today's world: the fine line between free speech and defamation. On one side, we value the right to speak our minds. It's one of the pillars of a democratic society. But on the other, there's a real need to protect individuals from false, damaging statements that can cause lasting harm. It's a delicate balance, and Fetterman's case brings this long-standing issue into sharp focus. As this legal battle unfolds, it could set a powerful precedent for how we handle similar clashes between public figures and the media in the future, especially in a time when information spreads instantly and opinions can shape reputations in a matter of seconds. So here's the real question: did The View cross a line, or is Fetterman simply trying to control the narrative around his public image? Is this about justice or just PR? It's a debate that touches everything from defamation laws and media responsibility to the evolving role of politics in public conversation.
And now for our party, we were talking about criminal justice, and we are now talking about second chances. And now all of a sudden now you're like, well, he's a convicted felon and all these things. And now clearly, again, both of those trials, the Hunter Biden one and the trial in New York for Trump, that was clearly those politically motivated, and those kinds of charges would have never been brought unless one side could realize that they could.
A million years, I would not take the flu shot. And I'll tell you why, because this is what Cochrane and BMJ have found. People who take the flu shot are protected against that strain of flu. They're 4.4 times more likely to get a non-flu infection. And you might find, and a lot of people do, that they get the flu shot and then they get sick. They're usually not getting the flu. They're getting something that is indistinguishable from the flu, because the flu shot gives you something called pathogenic priming. It injures your immune system so that you're more likely to get a non-flu viral upper respiratory infection. In fact, the Pentagon published a story, and you can cite this, it's by Wolfe, W-O-L-F-E, in January of this year, in which they said the flu shot not only primes you for flu, but it primes you for...
Whatever your perspective on the situation, one thing is certain. This lawsuit is about more than just a personal clash between Fetterman and The View. It's part of a much larger discussion about the responsibility of media outlets and the influence they have in shaping public opinion. As this case moves forward, it's clear this will spark conversations that go beyond the courtroom. Legal experts are already weighing in, speculating on how this case might reshape the way the media interacts with public figures. As the case progresses, the rest of us will be watching closely, wondering whether Fetterman's claims will stand up in court, or if this will be just another brief dispute that fades away. But one thing's for sure, we're witnessing the intersection of politics, media, and law play out in real time. And the outcome could have significant long-term effects on how we navigate public discourse in the future. So, where do you stand on this? Is Fetterman justified in his legal action, or is this much ado about nothing? Whether you're drawn to the political drama, the media ethics discussion, or just enjoy a good legal showdown, this story is one that's likely to keep us talking for a while. Stay tuned, we'll be keeping an eye on the updates as this dramatic story unfolds.